Hi everyone, welcome to my brand new channel. I'm Robert Langley, and this is where family life, cooking, and AI all come together. I've always wished meal planning would be easier, especially with two hungry kids and a busy schedule. I figured I can't be alone on this, and I can't be the only one in the position of not having a plan to suit everyone's preferences, maybe allergies, and taste buds. Hey everyone, welcome to my new channel. I'm Robert Langley, and this is where family life, cooking, and AI all come together. I've always wished meal planning was easier, especially with two hungry kids and a busy schedule. I figure I can't be the only one who maybe doesn't have a plan because you have a busy schedule, and especially one that suits everyone's taste buds, to the point where often when the questions came up about what's for dinner, I didn't have a plan and I was too busy to come up with one, so we ended up opting for eating out. So we've tried different services, whether it's meal delivery services or online services where you get the recipes and plan out your weeks. But oftentimes those work in the beginning, but then the recipes get kind of weird. Just they don't suit our taste buds. They don't look good to us. Oftentimes they even seem bland. Looking at the pictures, and so it wasn't very sustainable. That is where I decided to try out ChatGPT. And I've recruited an unusual sous chef, AI, artificial intelligence. Yep, we're going to let AI plan, cook, and we're going to taste test right here in our kitchen. Then we'll let you know whether we liked it or not. And I've been using ChatGPT now for a little over a month. I do leave in some flexibilities to cook recipes that our families love. And so far, it's been going pretty well. The meals are tasty. We've had quite a few that we all like. So AI works best when you give it clear instructions. So I'm going to walk you through creating what's called a master prompt in order to let AI know all about you, your likes, whether you have any food allergies or preferences, whether that's likes or dislikes. And then ChatGPT is going to remember that. And then you'll be able to just ask ChatGPT for some recommendations, for some dinner ideas. And if the ones that it initially doesn't give you, you can change it up. So here we go. All right, here's my what's called a master prompt. So when I started this, I didn't know what ChatGPT was going to be able to do. I didn't do any research on this topic of using ChatGPT as a meal planner, or it can be a health coach, whatever. You do have to be careful with some of the information as far as it being a health coach. Um, it may not always have the most up-to-date information. Just keep that in mind. So starting out with this, I ask it point blank, can you be my cooking instructor and meal recipe resource? I'm thinking that I can give you our likes and dislikes, and going forward, ask you for weekly recipes to help work with my family's food preferences. And at the time, I was thinking, am I going to need to give it recipes, whatever. So, uh, and then so I'll also be giving you recipes that we have liked in the past, which I can see how that could be helpful. If I'm giving it recipes that we've liked, it could help it could help ChatGPT tailor the recipes that it's searching for to those similar likes and dislikes. I've only done a couple so far. So I would like meals that are somewhat simple to prepare and only take an hour to an hour and a half uh, to both prepare and to cook. That's important because you're having to do the chopping, you're having to, do the prep work before cooking, and I try to find things to save time. I may not always use fresh uh, garlic if it calls for minced garlic. I may buy the ones that are in the glass jars in the produce air section, and then I guesstimate, you know. Uh, so, but I'm telling it, hey, I only have maximum an hour and a half to prep and cook. So I need recipes that are gonna, you know, tailor to that time. And so I'm a busy person with a full-time job, and I'm the one that primarily does the cooking, um, and then I also fill my time with besides a full-time job, side hustles. Um, you know, we have a travel agency, and um, so I'm working on the travel agency. I'm working on the social media aspect of that, and so I don't have a whole lot of time. I got to put some time into cooking, of course, but then I need to be able to get off and do these other things and still find time to spend time with my family. Um, and so, and I'm telling it, let's see, get back to where I was. Um, I'm hoping to have the time I mentioned earlier to prepare for dinner. Okay. And I would like future recipes that have at least 6 servings. And I get into that here in a moment. To be able to have 2 servings for lunch. There you go. And currently the kids are at home. So this was when I created this, it was during summer. Like I said, I've been using this for over a month now, um, until the middle of August. And our budget is able to be $4.50 per serving. Um, I learned that from another app that asked for how much per serving, and I figured that'd be a good idea. Uh, Less is better on the finances, of course. So come on, ChatGPT, try to uh, work within my budget, right? Our typical food and grocery budget ranges from 800 to 1,000 biweekly, and been able to keep it down around 800. And that may be high for some people. Make sure that you tell ChatGPT what it has to work with. And one thing I leave out in here that I've learned more recently is we should be giving it the actual store that we shop at, and you could tell it. Like, say for instance, we shop at Ralph's in Ventura. So tell it, hey, Ralph's in Ventura, but I could also go to Vaughn's in Ventura, you know, for certain things if needed, as a second option, right? Um, if Ralph's doesn't carry something and something's going to make a meal better, I could pop over to Vaughn's real quick. I just need to know that, and then here's our preferences. No fish, no shellfish. Personally, I like fish at times, but and I tried making a shrimp recipe, and found out my wife doesn't like shrimp. She doesn't like the smell. She will occasionally eat it, I think, but I haven't personally seen her. Uh, no crustaceans. One exception occasionally is that we all do enjoy salmon. So I did make a pistachio crusted salmon recipe that everyone really enjoyed, right? And I couldn't find the recipe, um, but darn, um, not too hard. I think it was just seasoning it with salt and pepper, and then make sure the pistachios are crushed up and sprinkled on there, right? And then so I'm telling it there's 4 of us, 2 adults, 2 children, right? The age ranges because I want to make sure that it knows kind of typical I mean, there should be a typical appetite for 15 to 12-year-old, right? My 12-year-old doesn't eat a whole lot, you know. Uh, everybody's a little different, but um, and then except for the 12-year-old, we're all interested in weight loss. So 12-year-old petite, she's um, doesn't need the weight loss, but and then so recipes with food that will help is a plus. I think cooking at home with fresh ingredients and all that's going to help anyways. I've noticed that in the past. And then as far as my cooking skills, so I'm telling it, I do have basic cooking skills, right? Techniques, and I've been cooking at home off and on for quite a few years now, and I picked up, I get used to uh, how much a teaspoon is or tablespoon is, and I can just kind of like throw it in there and eyeball it now. Not a big deal, but um, and then, like, if I'm in a hurry, I am the type that I want to measure everything, even though I can eyeball it at times. But if I'm in a hurry, I'm just gonna eyeball it. Hello, boom, you know, get it in there. So tell it your cooking skills. If you don't have any cooking skills, if you're so used to eating out and you don't cook at home and you want to start cooking at home, for whatever reason, for health, because eating out is not healthy, and so tell it, hey, I have no cooking skills. I could really use your help in that area, and see what I could do for you. You know, uh, so I'm telling it I have basic cooking techniques, uh, and then the types of dishes that we like, tastes and stuff. Casseroles, that's helpful for me. Uh, Casseroles are usually easy. You just throw some stuff together, put it in the casserole dish, and then stick it in the oven, and it takes like what, a half hour usually. Um, so I like those myself. Family doesn't always like them, but as far as they get tired of it if I do it too often, right? So I try to balance between a casserole or um, a skillet meal or something in the crock pot and or the pressure cooker, the oven, like a sheet pan meal or something. Some variety. Uh, so dinner salad is okay, but usually don't like to have them constantly. And then uh, we love Mexican food, so made sure to tell ChatGPT that. Um, and then, but my wife, she has problems eating bell peppers, so fajitas isn't a favorite. But I noticed ChatGPT even threw out fajitas at one point and said no bell pepper. So there's some alternatives, right? Um, and then we love tacos and burritos and quesadillas. I love enchiladas. Um, enchiladas I've made, the family loves them too. Carnitas, usually use the carnitas in the quesadillas, really good. And then occasionally pizza and pasta. And then I was also thinking about like what do we eat when we eat out, right? We're eating sandwiches, whether it's from Subway or Firehouse, and um, we don't we leave stews usually for the wintertime. Don't normally eat stews, but it'd be fine for the wintertime. Um, and then I was saying my wife isn't into stir fry, and tonight when I pulled up teriyaki stir fry from ChatGPT, she's like, yeah. So, well, surprising that I have that written in here, and it was fine. She loved it. Uh, so, and I'll by the way, I'll be doing a video. I'll be showing that video coming up uh, on what I made tonight, the teriyaki stir fry. So, and so Chinese food, we sometimes have Chinese food, and I'm giving it some of the stuff that we have when we do eat Chinese food, um, and then just give it details. Give it the story of your culinary story, right? Um, and then if a vegetarian entree, then add some chicken in because we're not vegetarians. Um, love there's a restaurant nearby called Karina's Mexican Food. They have vegetarian burritos, and we always ask them to put chicken in. Love Karina's in Ventura. Good food. Um, and then we'll plug in there for them, right? Um, types of ingredients. So we like all the beef, chicken, pork, ham, turkey, um, and then stuff like beans and breads, corn, dairy, eggs, fruit. All that's fine for us. And then um, types of cuisine that we're not crazy about. Asian, Cajun, or Indian. Some of that stuff I'm fine with, and maybe my wife is, but I got to think of the kids right now, right? Making this making this for the family, not just the two of us, and it could be tailored later on, right? To how things change. The kids' tastes start to change. Whatever, just tell ChatGPT something that you've noticed, um, and it can work with that. My older kid is sensitive to spicy foods, for instance. If that changes, I'm definitely telling ChatGPT. So I keep the spices mild. We love Mexican and Italian. I'm telling it again, Mexican. So it's hopefully got that clear. Italian, I cook Italian like pastas and stuff, and usually I get some kickback on that. I love Italian, especially um, I really love lasagna. So does my wife. She likes lasagna when we go out to an Italian place. She usually gets that too. And then American foods, Southern foods, comfort foods. It picked up on that. So when I told it American foods and maybe some Southern foods, it knows that I'm talking about comfort foods. Uh, we all like asparagus, broccoli, green beans, peas. Not cooked carrots, although the cooked carrots tonight work just fine in the stir fry. Uh, Personally, I don't like coconut shavings, so I'm making sure that ChatGPT leaves that out. My wife doesn't like roasted peppers. She always picks them out, as well as cooked tomatoes if the tomatoes are chunky, right? Sauces are fine. And then, let's see, bell peppers and see, I do have an alternative to bell peppers. It's another, it's a pepper. It's a long pepper that works out. If a recipe calls for bell peppers, and then this is kind of funny. I don't remember the name of it. It's big, long, and green, and Ralph's carries it, right? I and I mentioned leek down here. I think I was talking about uh, leeks. And so that hopefully picked up that that's something that we didn't like. Spices not to include rosemary, and one that I forgot to include in here that later on got included after a meal that included thyme. So I cooked. ChatGPT gave me a recipe with thyme, and my wife's like, something in here doesn't taste right, and I clued in on it. It was thyme. So I told ChatGPT about that, and now that's left out of meals. Um, we're also not fans of eggplant, and I mentioned leeks. My wife and kids are not fans of cabbage. And then and some of this may seem like, oh gee, what are you going to eat, because the list goes on and on, right? But ChatGPT has been working with it, and it does really well. It's given us some really good recipes. One that my kid just asked about just last night. Hey, I'd like to have this recipe, right? It was like a creamy chicken recipe, and so I dug in and I found it. Um, so uh, where was I? Cabbage, and then I've not been able to cook Swiss chard or collard greens. Uh, yeah, I'm not a chef by any means, by trade or whatever. I just I'm a home cook. um, uh, so, and when we enjoyed them, the last time I tried, I think it was Swiss chard, and yeah, that did not go over well. It went into compost. Uh, so best leave that out. And then that's all I could think of for now. And then if you have any questions for me, so this is important. If you have any questions for me, you're telling ChatGPT, hey, if I've left anything out and we can make this better, ask me some questions, right? Because ChatGPT is gonna know if it needs something, it'll ask you, right? I think I did this pretty detailed. I don't I don't think I got any questions after this, but um, and then as we go, I'll let you know if there's any ingredients we find we don't like, or if we enjoyed a recipe or not, um, so that you can learn what to suggest to us. So if you pick that up, if ChatGPT is going to be giving you recipes. If you use these recipes and your family likes them, it's only going to strengthen ChatGPT in what it'll suggest down the line. So, hey, we enjoyed this meal. Even if you can get specific to it, it's just going to make it better. If there's something you didn't enjoy, like I mentioned with the time, tell ChatGPT, hey, I think this recipe would have worked, but someone in our family didn't like this ingredient. Can you leave it out next time? If that makes sense for the recipe, right? If it's like a key ingredient, well, ChatGPT is probably just going to leave it out. But oftentimes it's pretty good about substitution so far from what I found. Okay. Um, so let's see, fantastic. And then meal plan flow, first steps, um, and then uh, respond to the following. Yes, all those sound great. Suggest prep ahead strategy and all that. Recommended lunch ideas for leftovers. Fine. You know, um, so okay. I hope you've enjoyed going over this with me, and I hope it gave you some great ideas. I do have more ideas to give you to strengthen ChatGPT. Um, I'm running a little long here, so I'm gonna leave that for another video. But again, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you'll subscribe to get more tips on using ChatGPT. I have other topics to talk about, and I created this channel because it I felt others could benefit from this information. It's a free tool. ChatGPT, you don't have to pay the $20. I pay it because of my other business. So and it's helpful. Some of the analyzing I did was I was hitting the cap, right? So I started paying the $20 a month. But you can get all this information for free. Um, and you have options of either just having it in one chat, or if you have the option for projects. I can't remember if that was available in the free version, but you have the paid version. You have projects. You can create a meal planning project and go from there. Project is basically a wall with a bunch of stickies, right, or papers hung up, um, and different ideas and stuff, and all in a collectively in one place. Uh, so I hope this is helpful for you, and I look forward to you following along. Um, you know, enjoy, and I hope this really benefits your family. All right, now that we have our master prompt ready, ChatGPT is going to use that master prompt anytime we ask it for a recipe. So then we're going to cook the meals, share it with you, give it our thumbs up or thumbs down, and let you know whether we feel it's worth making again. Um, and then, so I've already created some footage of a meal that we made. I mentioned the teriyaki, or I may have mentioned the teriyaki uh, stir fry, teriyaki stir fry. That was one that initially in my prompt I said that my wife wasn't big on it, but then she liked it. So I think we all liked it. My younger daughter, she's still picky, not eating like the rice, but she ate most of everything else. All right. Um, Take care. We hope you see you again.